Good evening, my people. Good evening. What's going on? It's your boy, Monte Carlo, going to be interviewing a good brother by the name of Noel Calloway. He has a film that was just released on Friday. The name of that film is called Aurora, and he's going to be tapping in with us, and we're going to be chatting with him a bit about his come up, how he became a film director, and we're going to talk about his film. Okay, I saw it over the weekend. It's an awesome film. I think you guys should go check it out. It's an awesome love story, and we want to find out what inspired him to make this film. I personally think it's coming around the perfect timing. Valentine's Day, right around the corner. So this will be a perfect film, a good film for you to go watch with your girlfriend, with your family, whomever. Yes, it's streaming on all platforms. And we'll talk more about it right now. He's going to be coming on live with us, okay? Streaming on all platforms. I watched it on, I think it was Prime Video. And I brought it. It was $12.99. So it was a good movie. Yes. Hey, good evening, sir.
What's up,
My good
family?
brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Bless.
Just, feeling good, feeling great.
Bless, man. Well, first off, man, I want to congratulate you on the new film. I saw it. You're welcome, sir. I saw it on Friday via Amazon Prime. I didn't rent it. I brought it because one of the reasons why I bought it was because I'm the kind of person, like, it's like reading a book. I look at films sometimes like reading a book. You know, some people read books. I can't rent a book because sometimes you want to go back and, it might be something you miss. You might highlight something. So I'm like that with films. You might, because I'm gonna go back and watch it again, and might be something I missed. And,
I think this is one of them joints. There are films that, especially the way this story is told, where you miss things because you captivated by certain things that's happening, and then when you watch it the second time, you pick up on certain things like, oh, I missed that. Oh, I missed that. Like a good song, or like you said, a good book. So. I'm proud of it. Like, I'm proud of the work that we did on it. I appreciate that, man.
It's So what inspired you to film this?
Originally, so I had a destination wedding, beautiful destination wedding in Aruba, with over 60 of my family and friends, with mine and my wife's. And so I wanted to bottle that up, right? Like, for us, again, we from Harlem. I'm from Harlem. You from Harlem. When you take 60-something Black and brown people to an island to celebrate love, that's just crazy. Like, the amount of fun we had, the drama and craziness that inevitably happens. So all of those things was where I'm like, when I was there, because I'm always in writer mode. Like, I'm not always in director mode, but I just love to write. So I'm always in story mode. And I'm like, just looking at everybody in the pool and having a good time, eating, drinking, whatever. I'm like, this needs to be a movie, And so that's where it started, just wanting to tell a destination wedding story. And then I'm like, well, what if the bride went missing? That's just how my brain
That's how it works.
Like, what if the bride went missing? And so, not my bride, thankfully, but in this case, the bride went missing. And let's be careful not to spoil things, because I want people to experience it the right way. But yeah, if you're at a wedding and the bride goes missing, everybody starts asking why. And that's what this movie is, right? It's why, what happened, and then what happens because of the why. So yeah, that's where it came from.
I like how your daughter first of all, congratulations to that for involving your daughter in the film. I think that was a major big move. Girl dads representing.
Yes, sir.
I like when the bride went missing, and she said, her and the other young girl, she said, "Runaway bride." You know, it's like they embraced that whole moment of it could possibly be a situation where the bride ran away.
Yeah, and they was stirring it up. Like that's again, that's the black family, right? That's all family, right? But for us, like it's the black family. Like the kids and everybody business, you know, the big sister, the parents, like that's what a black wedding is, right? You know, and so they represented part of that. And I think for me as a storyteller, like I really wanted to represent our culture, you know, us, right? Things like just without overdoing it. Like I made no attempt to be black in this movie, right? I made no attempt to be extra black because I am who I am. Like it's not something I got to try to do, you know, as a man, as a writer, as a director, as an everything. I don't have to try to do that. And I think more of us will be better served in our art if we just be our full self. You know, and that's what this movie is. It's like, you know, again, my daughter's character, you know, they represent the nosy nieces, you know, and then you got the big sister and then you got the grandparents. And so it's a full black family love story. And I'm excited. Like everybody, the response has been crazy. You know, the response has been so crazy. It's really hitting the marks that we target.
So when y'all had the movie premiere, was it, because I know it was family and friends there, was it a situation where you had, you know, some of your cousins, things of that nature, where they were like, this was me or this was him? Like, how did that play out?
So the premiere was crazy. You know, we had over 400 people for a 200-seat theater. So shout to our people for showing out, for really, you know, showing real love and support. But yeah, the yelling at the screen is amazing. Like, you know, we used to go to the movies all the time. Like, I don't think people go to the movies as much anymore. I still do. It's what I love, right? But a lot of people don't. So it really felt like the mid-90s in there. And I've seen it now in 3 theaters. Like, I saw it at the red carpet. We did an advanced screening where we test the audience to see how they feel about it, and we made subtle tweaks based on some feedback. And then when it came out on Friday, I just, for the first time, just went to the theater, bought some popcorn, sat down, and watched the movie. And, you know, me and my wife just sat next to her, watched the movie. We laughed at people, right? For her, it was on her second time seeing it. Like, she refused to watch it throughout any of the process. Like, she didn't watch any of the cuts. She didn't watch the edit. She just wanted to be fully separated from it and enjoy it as a moviegoer. My daughter did the same thing. They suckers for that because I needed some feedback at times. And they was like, nope, ask somebody else. So yeah, yo, the yelling at the screen really felt like, you know, in the theater on 161st Street watching Poetic Justice, right? Or you know, and I'm aging us. But like those movies, right? The Wood, you know, The Best Man, the first one, right? Like when people like just really are reacting and responding to what's happening. That's the most fulfilling thing for me. Is just, it's like when you make a song, right? And you just watch that face screw up, or you watch that head start nodding, and you like, yeah, this is what I did. Or when you make a meal and you watch somebody taste it, and it's like you watch them, you know, really enjoy it. That's a feeling that I crave, like just knowing, because I make it for me. I make it so that I like it. I make it so it's good, and then I give it to the people. And when you give it to the people, you want the people to receive it in the way you intended. And sometimes it misses, right? There are songs that might be my favorite song that people be like, that shit is trash. This movie, for the people I made it for, they are responding in the way that I thought they would respond. and I love that.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm glad you said something about embracing the moment of going to the movie theaters because, well, you know, I ordered it, like I said, through Amazon Prime. And my girlfriend, you know, I told her, I said, we're going to watch this film tonight. And she said, all right, so go. She said, go to the supermarket and get some snacks. I'm like,
yeah, see?
Yeah.
That's a vibe too. Like, I love that. Like, we, you know, me and my wife, we gonna watch, you know, we got TV tonight. We got stuff we watching, right? And, you know, so to be a part of that, right? To be in your home like that, right? Coming from where we come from and our background, our backstory of friendship, like, that's dope to me. Like, I need people who don't know me to watch it. I need people who don't care about me to love it because it's dope. But it starts with my folks, right? And my folks saying, nah, you killed that. Like, that's what I'm getting. And that is the fuel. Because it's like, all right, my people are responding because we will tell each other, right? Even if we want to be supportive, you're like, oh, yeah, that's joint, yeah, you doing your thing, you getting good. Like, we got a way of telling people they shit ain't even when we love them, right? I'm not getting any of that. Like, I'm really getting that, yo,
genuine.
You went crazy. And so I love that because I'm hitting my stride. Like, I got 2 more films I'm making this year, you know, and so, you know, I'm hitting my stride and just knowing that I've tapped into my audience, you know, the us of the world, I feel confident to go forward in this way.
That's interesting. So let's bring it back a little bit. So you was raised in Harlem.
Yeah.
When did you know that you wanted to get into film?
Frankly, all my life. I didn't know what it meant, right? And that's something, you know, it informs a lot of what I do. I was writing stories and movies and TV shows since I was like 10, 11 years old, right? Even in some of our classes, I was sitting in there writing stuff. That I wasn't supposed to be writing, but I didn't know how to write a movie. But I used to make up superhero stories. You know, I used to make up sports stories and put me in them. You know, I got a book from our time in choir. We had that like poetry book, but it also had stories in it, right? And I put me on the Celtics and I put Mighty Gene on the Knicks, and we played against each other in the playoffs. And I wrote that story, like, and it's an elaborate, you know, story. I knew I wanted to do it, but I never seen anybody do it, right? I never seen anybody that from where we're from look like us do it, right? Like that I could touch. And so I took a different route. Like, I tried a bunch of other stuff because I didn't see an entry point into this. And so it's part of my mission to show people from our hoods, not just specifically in Harlem, but the Harlems around the world, show them me, right? Like, somebody that's accessible, somebody that's real. I'm right here. I grew up like a lot of people, and I'm doing it. And I'm not doing it on a small scale. I'm not doing it on a trying scale. I'm doing it on the level of the people that don't look like us, the people that have had every chance and every resource. And so that is important to me. I teach a film class for that reason. I teach young kids. I'm doing a workshop series at a school in Newark, starting Thursday. I don't really have time to do it, but it's important to go and show them a director, you know, that they can touch, that dress like them, feel like them. So then some kid in that class is going to grow up and say, oh, I could do that because I remember that dude that came to my class. He wasn't a superhero. He looked just like me, you know. So, yeah, so that's where it came from. I always wanted to write, and then the directing and everything else came after. But, yeah, so, you know, forever.
Interesting. So, okay, FDA. What was that like? FDA going there.
FDA is so important
because my daughters go
there. Okay, so yeah, they're in that legacy. You know, one is important because I was in the first graduating class. I was one of the guinea pigs. Dr. Monroe's experiment.
Was Yandy in your
The
class?
school, Yandy was a year behind me, I believe. Yandy came in. I had been there like 3 years already. Because she came from high school. I was there from 7th to 12th. I left choir with FDA. And so FDA taught me excellence. It taught me choir had a hand in that too. You know, just the attention to detail and, you know, things that I didn't care about. I didn't want to sing, so I didn't care, but they got in. Dr. Monroe as a leader taught me the value of by any means necessary. You know, she taught me it doesn't matter what's going on with your mother, your father, your sisters, your brother. You need to squeeze every bit of juice out of your potential.
Buying is necessary?
By any means,
necessary.
Yeah, she told me she did not care. Like, she literally said this to me. I don't care what is happening in your house. I don't care what is happening on your block. You have a gift. And I'm not going to let you not max out that gift. And she would always end it with, I will kill you first. And she loved that way, right? And she was passionate. And we competed in FDA. We competed to have better grades than each other. You know, I remember competing to have the highest SAT score. I didn't. I was top 5, but I didn't win. But that competitive academic excellence is what I take away most. And then the second is the family. Like, before this, I did an interview with somebody I graduated FDA with, who has a movie critique platform. And, you know, so you've done, and I commend you and salute you for what you've done for the choir legacy and keeping people together and just extending that and creating that foundation. My daughter goes to private school. They have people from 40 and 50 years ago that are still integrated into the fabric of the school. And a lot of times we don't do that. And so choir is a legacy, and you carry that forward. FDA, we were a very short period of time with Dr. Monroe, right? Because she was only there for our years. And so that legacy has the potential to go away, and it's, you know, I take the challenge of not allowing it to, because it meant so much to me. So yeah, FDA is, you know, and I'm like, without struggle, there's no progress. We had to read that. That's Frederick Douglass's book. I live by that. Like, that's one of the things I live by. There are a few things, but that's one of them. Like, I am not going to not do something because it's hard. You know, and so those lessons are invaluable.
Okay, and then, of course, Clark Atlanta.
Yes. So yeah, so that was the next step, right? So first it was without struggle, there's no progress, and then it was find a way to make one. That's the mantra of Clark Atlanta. And so, like, I'm very, I say it a lot, you know, if find a way to make one with a person. Like, that's how I describe myself. Because I'm undeterred, bro. Like, I'm just undeterred. Like, what I'm building for my family, what I'm building for my people, and when I say my people, first I mean like my people, us, right? Like, people that I grew up with, people that are close to me, to be able to hold them down in a way beyond just, you know, helping with a bill. Like, I'm helping with a business, you know, and with an opportunity. And like, even in this film, there are people that I've given opportunity in this film, and that feels amazing. To be able to give people platforms and lend to their journey. So Clark Atlanta taught me one, find a way to make one. I live by that, but also that we not all from a block, right? There's some people that are from a neighborhood. There's some people that are from a town, and they just as black as me. They, you know, and they're just as black as us. Because Harlem and New York, we got a way of thinking that we are it. There's no more universe. And I like that a little bit about us because that drives us. But Clark showed me that the black world was bigger than my block. And that some people came from 2-family homes, and some people came from wealth and legacy and tradition, and not, you know, hood traditions, like actual traditions. You know, those are cool too. I like some of mine. You know, but it gave me that well-roundedness, and it was a beautiful time. Just it informs a lot of my stories because, you know, I got to draw from some of the most beautiful, talented, creative black people, young people just thriving in one space. HBCU, so it's nothing like that.
That's something, man. It looks like you had a very good experience going to a HBCU.
Absolutely. I mean, there were challenges. There were challenges because I didn't have a blueprint for college, right? I didn't have a lot of people before me that were close to me that had walked those steps.
Okay.
And so, you know, I didn't always know how to do my paperwork right or on time. You know, there were things that there were missteps. And sometimes, you know, college can be unforgiving. I don't think that's about black college. I think that's college. If you don't handle business, it's going to slap you. And when you're in a black school, you sometimes expect your hand to be held and to be kind of hugged and forgiven, you know, and that's not always going to be the case. But I'm better for it. And some of my best friends, some of the people I'm in business with, you know, my man, Devon, who produced this movie with me, Brawley Hall, like we were dorm mates. That's my wedding. You know, like I couldn't have made this movie without him. That's, you know, my Clark Atlanta brother. He's from Brooklyn, New York, and we talk every day. You know, I found my family there. you know, like you
that's
know,
a blessing.
so you know, between Milan, who plays the youngest sister, is I call him my brother because he's my brother, my best friend. His daughter, we met at Clark freshman year. Like, that's my brother. Like, that's not my playboy, that's my brother. You know, anybody who does it, like, that's my niece. You know, like, so that's sometimes what a college experience gives you, is just those connections that can't be broken. And we have withstood the test of time. There's nothing that can change what we are.
Yeah, I think that's one of the messages we should deliver to our children, the importance of going to college. Because, you know, a lot of the kids these days, they're infatuated with the get rich quick scheme, but it's the process that matters. You know, you a lot of people start businesses with their college roommates or their college classmates, and that it's very important to be able to appreciate each step, each process. Now, did you meet your wife? Did you meet your wife in college?
No. So my wife went to Hampton. Thankfully, I wasn't ready to meet my wife in college. I'd have messed that up. So she went to Hampton. We lived like 3 blocks from each other in New York.
Okay.
Never met. Never saw each other. Like before college, during college, summers, never saw each other. This is how I know God.
Yeah, fact.
Because I would have messed that up 100%. At any of those times and stages, I would have fucked that up. I met her when I was supposed to. You know, I met her when I was ready, and when we were ready for each other. And that was post college, back home. I was having the time of my life, having an amazing summer, and there she was. And here we are.
Okay, so she went to HBCU also.
Yes.
Okay.
Went to Hampton, the Hampton Institute. She don't like me to call it that. That's what it is. Basically. That's what it's originally called, I think.
That's what's up. So, I think this movie came out in a perfect time because, you know, we love Tyler Perry. You know, we like the run that he had and that he's probably still trying to have, you know, in other areas of the business. But I think this was a good time for you to get your feet wet in a movie like this, a black movie, you know.
unapologetically.
Yeah. It's a perfect time for it. So you said you had other scripts that other films you're gonna bring out.
Yeah, so I'm shooting another movie in like 4 or 5 weeks. We're in like early pre-production right now on another film that'll be released at the end of the
Okay.
year. Christmas movie. It's more of a it's multi-generational. Everybody will be able to enjoy it, but it's more targeted toward like the teen audience. And then I'm shooting a like a coming of age drama that morphs into an action film. I'm shooting that in the summer. That's going to be a big one. That's one I'm super excited about. But yeah, I think to your point about Tyler Perry, who is someone that I definitely admire aspects of his business and of what he's done. We don't have to have and I think throughout history there's always been sort of this one at a time syndrome for black film. Not that John Singleton wasn't rocking while Spike was rocking, or Mario Van Peebles has always been, Melvin Van Peebles and that family and the Wayans. Like, there's always been us making black film, but as far as commercial success and commercially recognized as just sort of that spearhead of black film, it's like they want one of us to be there at a time. Right? They want it to be Spike's era, Tyler's era, and now people may want it to be my era, and I'm claiming that I'm gonna have an era. But what I'm gonna do differently is I'm not gonna have an era of Noel Calloway films. I'm gonna have an era of the Noel Calloway team, where they're gonna be 10 directors that are connected to me that you guys are gonna see movies. From. Male, female, all black and brown. Where we're gonna make movies that come out of this camp that are different stories. Different perspectives, and the way that other camps do it, right? Like there are film teams, right? Like if you look at Judd Apatow and Jonah Hill and those guys, and Seth Rogen and all those guys, like they're a team and they make a bunch of hits, and they help each other, support each other, and one person's at the lead on this one, another person's at the lead on that one. That's what my mission is. Like my mission is to be some singular hero that carries the next generation. I'm gonna make my joints, and they're gonna be fire, and people are gonna trust me to know that, oh, if Noel made this, go see it. I like his movies. But then I'm gonna have 3 other people next to me that they're saying the same thing about, and then 3 other people next to them that they're saying the same thing about. So I hope Tyler keeps killing it. I hope Spike keeps being Spike. I hope Will Packer keeps producing dope shit. There's a lot of black directors that people don't know that are killing it. Like, I hope everybody, because that's the way our stories are not looked at as, these shockers. Like, oh, like people who watch this movie, oh, it's so amazing. And there's part of that has a little bit too much surprise in it to me. Where it's like, yo, that's a really dope movie. I need to get a little bit of the surprise out your voice. I know from a good place, but we gotta have more people telling our stories at the same time in a high level way, so that it's no longer a thing, right? Like black quarterbacks got 2 in the Super Bowl. That shouldn't be a thing anymore, right? Having a black quarterback is no longer a thing. Yeah. Because half the league is black quarterbacks. Black head coaches in the NBA. Like, I think as of last year, like half the league was black coaches. Let's make it not a thing for us as black storytellers to have our space.
Should be the norm.
Yeah.
Would you ever shoot a film in Harlem?
Everyone except for this one. Everyone except for this one. Like, I pride myself on showing the block what it looks like, what a big production looks like, what professionalism looks like, what believing in your talent looks like. Because we saw the rappers come through, right, and it made all of us write a bar or 2 or 6, right? Because we saw Mace, we saw Cam, we saw L. We saw the rappers come through. I remember L came through the block party on a motorcycle, in like '88, and I don't mind dating myself because it's a privilege to get older.
Facts.
Came through on a motorbike, shook the block,
Mm-hmm.
and at the party, and like those are people we could touch. So we all aspired in some way to
Mm-hmm.
be that, right? I want to do that to these blocks in Harlem. So again, I've shot a lot of things. I shot my first film. A lot of it was shot in Harlem. The kid's apartment was on Bradhurst. Like what I
Mm-hmm.
do, and then I shot a pilot with a girl. The first scene is in 270 West 153rd Street. The first scene is in that lobby.
Wow.
You know, yeah, hard. I'm always gonna put Harlem on screen. Now, this is a destination wedding in Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't do it in this instance. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, in the Christmas movie I'm shooting, they walk basically to PS 200. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not gonna be the location, but that's where we're gonna walk.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, Harlem is always gonna be at the forefront of what I do.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So, recruiting actors. If someone wants to be a part of the next process, the next film, should they email you? Should they DM you? What's that process like? And what is your process like when you're looking for actors?
So I always hire a casting director. I think Elsa Lathan did an amazing job with
Okay.
this of putting our cast together, along with producer Melissa Martin. Like they were key in putting the cast together. What I'm going to tell people that want to be actors, that want to get in the business, you got to put yourself in the spaces that people are looking for actors, right? So there's actors access, there's the breakdowns. Like there are different places where actors place their headshots, their resumes,
Mm-hmm.
even if they have management or agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are things you can do, right? Like we're in the information age where you can access that information of how to be there,
Mm-hmm.
because we scour these places to look for people.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, one of the key lead characters in this film sent me a DM and said, "Hey, can I audition?" She auditioned, she bodied it. It was her role. She's now one of the stars of the movie. I always post on my Instagram when I'm in production, to give opportunities to people who may not have access in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a door opener. So
Mm-hmm.
never be shy about sending a DM.
Mm-hmm.
Never be shy about sending an email, going to a website, Googling people. You have to be relentless about your dream.
Okay.
So if you have a dream, you got to chase it. It's not going to come find you. So yes, I'm open and accessible to new and emerging talent, to people who want a shot. Whether you start in a small role or the lead role, yeah, I'm not closing doors on nobody.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good, man. Well, listen, man, you know, I see some people from we see our brother Born on here. He just
Born,
tapped in, you know. Let's
yeah,
give a shout out, man, to like Mr. Peanock.
yeah, listen, Apple. Yo, listen, Mr. Peanut deserves compensation
Talk
because that
about it.
grade class that we were in,
Noel. Oh.
Lord of the Flies. Like when I talk about just the belligerent ignorance, like this is what, like, oh, that was tough times. You like this is part of the reason why all boys schools, I don't know, because it was just all testosterone all the time, and we was on 1,000.
Noel,
Dana.
yo, you gonna have to do like a, I don't know, a film or a series on our class, bro.
No, absolutely. Like, and it informs stuff. Like, I pull little pieces of things and put them in different things. Again, I have a bunch of scripts that I've written, and there's little pieces of, you know what boggles my mind? And me and Ray always talk about
That's
this.
what's up.
Like, the age disparity in our class. Like, there are people
Talk about it
that was in our class that are like 3 years older than us. Like, right now.
Yeah.
Which is not a big deal right now, right? You're in your 40s, y'all 3 years apart, that shit don't matter.
Yeah.
But when you're 11
and you gotta,
they're 14 and y'all fighting and shit, because that's what we were doing in there. Like, yeah, so Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that was crazy times, man. Clearly there were no rules. They was hitting. I'm not gonna go all the way there. It was crazy.
But listen, the discipline factor that we got from that, Noel, is unmatched, bruh. You know, Miss Pratt.
Yeah, yeah.
Rest in peace, Mr. Bennett. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like there was no, oh, I didn't do my homework today.
No, that's a fact.
There was none of that, bruh.
It definitely helped prepare me for FDA because it was a standard. You walked in with a standard, right? Like sit in concert position. Like, bro, why? Like they weren't trying to hear why, right? And for somebody like me that always liked to debate and challenge every damn thing, you know, they was not with it. So, you know, that's why my time was short-lived. But I definitely appreciate, like you said, the discipline, even the summer camp, right? Like,
but Noel, that was the highest note of discipline. Yeah. When you was in there with us, that was the highest level of discipline that organization ever received, is what I'm trying to say.
Got it.
When you left, like the level of discipline,
it waned a little bit. Yeah.
So I think we received like the bulk of the discipline, something that we can pass down to our kids, and you know,
they were too close to the sun. Like I think they had an idea of what they felt like young black boys from Harlem and the Bronx and Brooklyn needed, and they leaned into that, and I committed to that. They probably pushed the envelope sometimes, and so that's probably why, like you said, when I left, you know, they probably had to recalibrate. But yeah, no, I'm appreciative. Like my journey has really prepared me to conquer shit the way that I'm doing it. You know, I went to choir, I went to FBA, I went to Clark. I grew up on 53rd. Like, you know, like I'm prepared. You know, like the 80s and 90s. Like none of this cute shit. Like and everything. You know, we are in a smarter time. People are smarter, more evolved, in touch with ourselves. We care about our mental and physical health. Like all of those things are so important. So I love the evolution of the world we're in a lot of ways. But the times that we were groomed and bred, you know, there's nothing we can't do. You know, there's nothing we can't do. And that's what I instill in my daughter, right? That's why she can, you know, tackle a role. She can play basketball. She can, you know, be an artist. She can be a good, smart, respectful kid. You know, there's no one or the other around here. Like, there's no, oh, she's smart, so she doesn't have to be nice. That's the hell you do. You know, she's pretty, so she doesn't have to be respectful. Yes, that's the hell you do. You know, you can be good all around.
Yeah, man. Shout out to your family, man. For
appreciate it.
They really, I love the way they support you. I love, you know, your pops. You know, he follows the page. You know, he sends me like different DMs about different things that's going on in the world and stuff like that. You know, I appreciate the brother, man. So we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap it up. But you know, who are some of your the greatest filmmakers, and what kind of tips and things that you get from them?
Well, I mean, Spike Lee and John Singleton are the two for me.
Okay.
You know, I'll talk more about Spike because Spike is a New Yorker. And Spike told and tells stories of his experience.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
He has his own lens, right? He has his own voice, right? You know a Spike Lee movie when he puts his hands on it. And it's not trying to be anything else or anyone else. And I take that has guided me, right? I'm not trying to be Spike because Spike didn't try to be Melvin Van Peebles, right? I can be me, fully me, right? And tell stories that are important to me in my own voice, right? Like, you know, there are lines in that movie that like I'm in every character,
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form, and so I don't have to apologize for that. Like I can pour me into my stuff and give it to the world, and I feel like he did that in a way that represented us and our culture in a way that was respectful, was proud, was dope, was, you know, had forethought and set trends, and, you know, had commentary on what was going on, but also had an opinion about it. Okay. And, you know, and so that's what I want to do. I want to, you know, follow in those footsteps. So those would be the tips I would give any storyteller, whether it's in music, film, art, anything. You have a voice. Don't mimic anyone else's. Be your full self. Give it to the world without apology, and then you can live with the results. But when you chase approval and money and everything else, you tend to get lost. And so that's my guidance for anybody who wants to listen to that.
That's deep, man. Let me invite our brother Born in here real quick.
Yeah,
right?
do that.
1 second.
My man, Born Justice a la Davis. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold
on. Boy, stop playing.
Yeah, he just sent
watch TV with this woman.
Let's see what he got.
I've been working like crazy, and that's the other thing, just finding that balance of chasing some, but also taking care of your house. You know?
Yeah, I was just talking to my brother about that just now, about, you know, there's just some things that you just got to turn down. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, different opportunities might come your way, etc. And, you know, you just got to protect your mental health, protect yourself. And because, you know, it's important. It's important.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that these days, man. It's crazy how, you know, people don't think about anybody but themselves sometimes. Like, yo, I need you to do this. I'm like, well, I can't do that. Like, I'll pick up my daughter from practice. Like, I can't. Born.
Fam.
What up, my
What's good, fam? Oh my,
this guy.
God.
Listen, man, I gotta get a hat though. Like, you can't have your
We
hat
got you.
Like,
we got you, bro.
I gotta get a hat, man. I'm gonna buy a hat. I want to support, you know, for real.
Yeah.
So listen, Noel, man. Like, I'm sorry, man. I wanted to be on earlier, but the work had me slaving right now. But one thing I can tell you is that I've been sharing everything, forwarding, make sure everybody knows Aurora is the hottest joint out right now. And much respect, and I'm proud of you, fam. I just wanted to let you know that off the break.
Nah, it's in the mix, man. Like, Aurora is in the mix, man. Some great movies out right now. I'm not like saying only watch this one. You People is crazy. You know,
I just saw that.
I know the team from Fear. You know, check that out if people haven't seen it. You know, like, you know, Deon Taylor's a dope black director. You know, we here, man. Like, people should watch. You know, and again, like, You People and Aurora, I think, like, watching those next to each other, just love stories and family stories. They're different, but I'm, you know, it's one of those situations where I'm proud to stand next to those type of films, and I feel confident that if you watch them back to back, you're not gonna see drop off. You know, you're just not. You know, it's just not. You're not gonna see like, oh, he did. No, it's no apologies. No, watch the movie. Like, I don't want you to watch the movie with any caveats. Like, oh, he's just a guy from Harlem and he didn't have I had everything I needed to make the movie. I promise you I did. Like, I had every resource I needed because I found a way and I made one. I don't want no apologies for what people see on screen. Judge it like you judge everything else. Just watch it and judge it. If it's dope, say it's dope. If it's not, say it's not. If you hate that character, call her a bitch. If you love that character, say that's your bitch. Whatever, however you talk about it, right? Like, just like just put it in the mix. You know, put it in the mix.
Questions. I don't want to double back. I know I saw a little bit of Lamar good intro, Monty, too, man.
Yeah.
Some of the questions I was asking me, and I was like, we'll just wait until he answered it, right? But one of the things that I think one of my coworkers at work, and I sent her, she was like, "Oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? I love this joint." Right? And she was like, "So what?" Because when I tell the story how we all met in the boys' choir and that culture back then in the early '90s and so forth, it was like, what kind of steered him into the director or directorial type of where you at now? Like, did you always have that mindset, or did certain things around you and your environment kind of pivot you into that direction?
So the writing led to everything else. Like, I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always written. Before I knew I could be a professional writer, I was writing anyway. Like, I had notebooks with stories in them. In writing, my first film, I was pushed into directing it because as I was interviewing directors, they were saying, it wasn't really getting the vision. And as I was challenging them on certain aspects of it, the producers were like, "Yo, you need to direct this." And I'm like, "I don't know how to direct." They're like, "Nah, but you do."
Yeah.
And you call on other skills, right? Like, choir taught us leadership. Frederick Douglass taught me leadership. My height or lack thereof made me play point guard, right? So you got to be a leader. In my family, as having two younger sisters, I had to be a leader. And so director is the leader, is the person who can't make excuses, is the person who has to make sure everybody's good, who has to have a clear vision and communicate that to people so that they can carry it out. So I think those skills were embedded in me in the way we were raised, in the environments I came up in, and then the creative talent and the gift that I have to tell story is what pushed it, right? But the leadership, I ran day camps. I was a summer camp counselor and I was a summer camp director. That's, I'm responsible for 300 children, and their parents, and being beholden to my organization and parents, the kids. That life taught me how to run a set, right? Where I can talk to the gaffers and the grips in the lighting department. I can talk to the sound department. I can talk to the actors. I can talk to the investors. I can, promote it. Like, I can speak all those different languages and stay myself because I had to talk to the 5-year-old in group 1 and then the 12-year-old in group 4. And then the irate mother, and then the flirty mother, and tell her to take it easy. I had to navigate all of that. So I think people who have a dream and want to do something and don't necessarily have the experience, you can look at your other life experiences and you can translate it if you're open to that and you have the capacity to do that. So
what are some of the challenges and the obstacles you face when doing this feature film?
So doing a film that's smart, that challenges the audience, that is unapologetically Black, but is also, again, intelligent and not stereotypical and not stupid and doesn't embarrass us, you're always going to face, challenges because there are factions of the world that don't want us to be shown in those lights. There are factions of the world that don't want me, a husband, a father. I'm not on no bullshit. Like, I'm just not. I'm not on no bullshit. So making me a star may not be in everybody's interest. Because I'm not going to embarrass our culture. I ain't going to do no dumb shit. You're not going to catch me in nothing. So I might not be the best representative according to some people, but to others, I might be the exact representative we need. So I haven't always gotten the support within the industry as I pitch projects, because notes I've gotten have, like, basically they've tried to get me to make stuff dumber. They've tried to get me to make stuff more easy and common. And not, people watch this movie and say, I thought I was watching a rom-com and this shit turned into a mystery. Yes, right? I'm challenging.
Yeah, it did.
And I trust y'all. I trust us to be able to watch things intelligently and I don't have to give you everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to spell everything out. Like, you could think
Mm-hmm.
about some shit. Like, that's the way, you know, Goodfellas is. That's the way The Godfather is, right? Like, that's the way. But our entertainment sometimes is stripped down, and it's
Mm-hmm.
devoid of nuance and layers.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't gonna get deep on it, but that's what my stuff has. My stuff is always gonna be what I think I am, where I'm smart and I can go and stand in any room and have a conversation, but I can stand on any block and have a conversation too. And so that translates in what I create, in that you're gonna see Black people that are layered and diverse within our Blackness, and they don't always want that, right? They want it to be simple. So that's a challenge. Getting people to believe in the audience is gonna go to see these type of movies without the same three actors that we always see is a challenge, right? Because my cast is dope. Like, I love this cast. That's why I got what I needed. I got what I wanted for this movie. Everybody who's in the role is supposed to be in the role they're in.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, I couldn't get this guy, so I used him just because no, these are dope actors with resumes and talent and fan bases. And, you know, the powers that be don't always accept that. They're like, well, why don't you use this dude? And I'm like, him again? You know, no knock on him. I'm glad he's working, but how about him? You know, so yeah, those are some of the I'll go on and on about the challenges.
Okay.
Okay. Appreciate that. I think that in the industry right now, you're going to get a lot of, you know, setbacks and people against, you know what I'm saying, the narrative. That's why I feel like sometimes we have to change the narrative, you know. And I'm not gonna say it's easy to break into the career that you're going into. A lot of people went into it and failed. So what do you say about those who you know have the same aspirations as you, but you know those challenges kind of, you know, made them, like, you know, scale back and say, you know what, maybe it's not for me. Maybe, you know, I'm not good enough.
Then it's not, and then you not. Like, if you think you're not good enough, you're not. If you think you are good enough, you are. If you think it's not for you, then it ain't. You know, that's the blessing of Harlem, right? Is nobody's more special than me. Like, I don't care what you have or who you are. You know, I walked in Rucker Park in the late 90s and felt like royalty because it's home, right? If I could walk in there, I could surely walk in Sony Pictures, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't run from it. And I say, for anybody who wants to, you got to appreciate what you're trying to do. If you're trying to if you're trying to work at a fast food restaurant, there's a million positions. You will get one. If you're trying to do something monumental that can change generations of your family, right? Like, people make billions of dollars in this industry that I'm in, right? This can feed my grandchildren's grandchildren. This is a legacy. It's no way in hell that's going to be easy. It's no way in hell that's not going to take time and work and sacrifice and pain and sweat. If you want something huge, you got to be willing to do something huge. If you want something small, then do small things and you'll get small results. So yeah, that's what, like, people say they want shit and they don't necessarily want it. Again, this is my second feature film that I've written and directed. I've produced others. I've written TV pilots. I've done sizzle reels, proof of concepts, short films. It takes 20 years to be an overnight success. I quit my day job at 25. I'm 43. This is not something that I don't do every single day. This is what I do. And this is the result of that work. This is the result of that refusal to accept failure on any level. And so that's what people have to have for anything you're pursuing. You know, and that's not about movies. That's about anything.
Right.
If you want to have a bakery and you've always dreamed of having that bakery, sometimes you're not going to sell a cupcake that day. You know, you don't shut the doors, you know, you figure it out, you know. So yeah, that's, man, we come as a people, and again, I'll keep this part short. We come from some shit, like the things that our people fought through and lived through for us to have this chance. What the hell I look like crying because somebody ain't like a script I submitted? Make it myself.
That's fact. That's fact. He said, I'm bringing the table.
Yeah. Who needs a table? Who needs a table? We ate with the Chinese food carton on our lap. You take the top, I take the bottom. Who needs a table?
Yeah, bro.
We got everything we need.
Hey, so Noel, full circle. I see we got some more people viewing, and who probably didn't catch the beginning. Just to tie it back around, what is the takeaway from this film, Aurora? What is the takeaway? What is the main concept for people who's going to turn in and probably watch it tonight?
Aurora, A Love Story is a full-scale love story. It's not just about the love between this couple, Kenny and Giselle, because they did an amazing job. It's about, you know, a black family at a destination wedding, and drama occurs. You know, craziness occurs, and everybody is responding to it. It's a movie that when you watch it, you will not know what's going to happen. I don't care how savvy you are, how many movies you've watched, there will be things you don't see coming. And I'm proud of that. I've watched it, I have people watch it, and that's the takeaway. So if you like those mid-90s, early 2000s black films, the Love and Basketballs, the Love Jones, the, you know, the Best Mans, the Woods, those type of movies, this is the vibe. And you get to be in Puerto Rico for 2 hours, for 95 minutes. You get to go to Puerto Rico with this cast. Let's talk about how beautiful these people are that are in this movie. The women, the men, the kids, the grandparents, the clothes, the colors. We put beauty, black and brown beauty, Latin and black beauty on the screen in a dope, fun way. And like, this is a movie where you can't watch it and be like, I didn't enjoy it. Right? Like, some people's gonna be their favorite movie. Other people, they're gonna be like, oh, that was good. Right? It's gonna be somewhere in between those. Right? I don't think it should go below that. You know, I really don't.
And what was the casting? What was the casting like?
So, some of the people in the cast I knew that I was putting in those roles, like Ashley Monique Harper as Sophia. She's a dope actress who has been fighting for opportunity. She killed it on the Oval, the Tyler Perry show. And then they killed her ass. So she killed it, then they killed her. And, you know, she's a friend in the business, but a friend outside the business who I know her talent. So being able to give her an opportunity was dope. Jason Hurt, same thing. Jason Hurt's been grinding. He plays Tracy, phenomenal actor from the Bronx, dope dude, good spirit, will run through the wall for you. Giving him an opportunity was important to me. Mark John Jeffries, who we all know is Little C's, he's losing Isaiah, dope, talented actor, better dude. Like, that's my guy. You know, he killed it, right? And so some of those was no audition. Like, yo, take a look. If you like this role, let's do it. They liked it. Then we had a casting director and a producer, Elsa and Melissa, who built out the cast. We did auditions, you know, self-tapes. You know, we had tons of submissions. Some celebrities, people that you guys know and love, audition for this movie. You know, some we were close on, but they just weren't these ones. You know, and so this isn't something, again, where it's like we settled. Like, this was something where we got what we felt was the dopest cast we could get, and put them on screen. And it works. You know, we were in Puerto Rico together for 3 weeks, man. I'm glad we all like each other. It worked.
Man. I need to get out there.
Yo, shout out to Aaron too, because he was a part of this too on a executive producer level.
Producer, man. That's my guy. Another guy who is like, you got to be kind of crazy to do stuff like this, right? Like, yo, we gonna go to Puerto Rico, shoot a movie. You know, we have the resources we have. You know, you need people that are from where you're from, that believe how you believe, to stand next to you. And A is one of them guys where it's like, even if he don't always see the vision, he will still ride with it and run through the wall as if it was his. And then more often than not, he does see the vision because we see things through similar eyes. But between him and Devon, who I mentioned from school, from Clark, like those are my guys where, you know, I know they gonna hold me down as me as the creative. As I fight for everything else, they gonna make sure that, you know, we good. So yeah, shout to A.
They trust you to be the quarterback.
Yep. And they them receivers that yell at the quarterback.
I love
you know,
that.
A is like A is the TO then. If we're gonna use that analogy, A is definitely TO.
Yeah, man. You need people like that, and it's good that, you know, he's from Harlem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have a good team around you that's supporting you, pushing you in the right direction.
Yeah.
And like how you said, how you're creating a system where you're going to have like multiple directors, not just you.
Who has that dream, tap in. Like we want more of us, young, older. It don't matter. Like it is never too late to start. So whether you 14 or you 55, tap in, right? Like come be on set, learn, pick up, figure out where your skill set is. Because that's the only way we really win. Is when we all good. And not trying to snatch at each other. You know, we pulling each other up. You know, that's not just talk. Like if you look at my team and you look at the people that are with me, a lot of them been with me before they knew what they was doing. You know, and now they're flourishing. Others taught me and believed in me before I knew what I was doing. So that shit goes both ways. Like you just gotta have people that love and care about each other enough to ride through the good and the bad.
Yeah. So before we wrap it up, man, let's briefly talk about the situation you have in Newark with the kids, right? Yeah. Just tell us briefly more about what that situation is.
School. So I've taught a film program called Lights, Camera, Action for years. Again, my first time ever on a movie set, I was the director. And that's cool, a cool story to tell in a bar, but it's really not that cool to me because I was never given access and opportunity to touch that world. And so I set out to make sure that didn't happen for as many Black and brown kids as possible, where I can teach a film program where we simulate actual movie sets. And shout out to Christina too. She might be in here. She has a film program that's very similar. You know, called the Bronx Film Initiative. Don't yell at me if I got it wrong. And Let's Make a Movie. So she does the same thing at schools all over the Bronx. And I do it. You know, I've done it for years, but my career has gotten to a place between my career and my family where I have not had the time anymore. But this school reached out to me and asked, could I produce a documentary around their school? Because it's a very unique school. And I said, you know, they didn't really have the budget that I would cost to do a documentary around their school. So I said, this is what we can do. Let's do a workshop series and I'll teach your students how to make a documentary about the school. Because I could take a lot less for that, even if it's work, because I feel like I'm giving something. You know, for me to do a service for you, I'm going to charge you my price. But for me to teach some kids how to do something that they can take with them, you know, whatever you got, you know, within reason, I'll just do it. And so that was the situation where he's like, I'm like, well, give me that budget and I'll come and I'm going to do some workshops. I'm going to teach them how to, you know, cinematography, how to work the camera. teach them storytelling and how to tell a documentary story. There are some scripted aspects. Teach them some editing, some lighting. Just give them let them touch every aspect of this process, and then they'll walk away with a project that they produced, directed, and wrote. And that's something that the school can be proud of, the families can be proud of, and you never know what it'll spark in one of those kids to where they are one of those directors that I'm talking about right now in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So that's what we're doing. I don't know if you want me to talk about it. I don't know where you got the money from, so I ain't gonna mention the school.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't know how. Again, I just don't want to step out on that. But yeah, so that I'm excited to do it. It's a welcome break from, pushing the movie and being a full grown-up professional. I get to go hang out with some kids a little bit, once a week for the next few weeks.
That's what's up, man. Anything to keep these kids off the street too, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gotta give them something to look at. Give them something to look for, something that they touch. And we were on the streets, but we had something to go home to. We had something. We had a basketball team, a choir, or something that incentivized us to want to be better. We had people that we didn't want to let down. I want to make sure I say that while I'm here. All of us that are older, all of us that are quote OGs or whatever in our communities, be somebody that these kids don't want to let down. Be somebody that these kids don't want to disappoint. And if you are that, then they'll be better. But a lot of suckers out here, and then the kids are emulating suckers.
Emulate what they see.
So let's be better.
All right, cool, man. Listen, man, Noel, man, I want to thank you for chiming in, man, coming on.
This was dope, man. It's look, from Mr. Peanut class to this, it's crazy.
Just love both times right here. Appreciate that. And Mark, don't forget to get his shirt size and send him a hat and shirt and things like that.
Man, send me some stuff, man.
Most definitely. I got him.
Let's do it. You see, I'm repping Clark, man. I want to rep Choir. I want to rep FDA.
Okay.
I want to rep all my families.
Facts.
Good.
Facts.
All right, man.
Noel.
Man, proud of you. Love you, man. You be up and holler at us, man.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
All right. Salute.
On that next film.
Y'all singing in it, both of y'all.
All right.
Later.
All right. One.